Everybody, welcome to Studio 64. My name's David, and I've been searching the interzones for some more science, space, and tech news to share with you. And I came across this at RT.com. Yeah, Boeing again. Yes, apparently hundreds of Boeings at risk of mid-air explosion, according to a media report. Yes, the beleaguered company dismissed the warning as a routine regulatory notice. Dear Lord, how many notices do they get, and now they're routine? That's insane. The US Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, issued a directive earlier this year warning that a defect in Boeing 777 aeroplanes could cause a fire or explosion if unaddressed. It is unclear whether the plane's operators have addressed the issue. Good God, I hope they certainly have. I mean, that's just insane. The directive was issued in March while the FAA solicited comments until earlier this month. Amid a series of safety incidents involving Boeing aircraft, the Daily Mail reported on the publicly viewable document on Wednesday. There's no excuse for this, Boeing. It's been 121 years since man got off the ground with the Wright brothers and Glenn Curtis, if you're a conspiracy theorist, who was a flying boat guy. So technically, that's not off the ground, it's off the water. But you know what I mean. It's been over a century, right? It's nearly 1.25 centuries since we flew heavier than air vehicles, right? This is just ridiculous. And a lot of it, I guarantee you, has got to do with their DEI policy, diversity, equity, and inclusion. I don't care if you're a blue-haired person who identifies as a bloody rhinoceros. I couldn't care less. It does not faze me in the slightest, right? But make sure you don't hire the person based on that, right? Hire them on the fact that they are an engineer or they're a pilot, or you know what I'm talking about here. You can be whatever you want to be. You can identify by what you want to identify by, but don't hire people based on those characteristics. You don't hire somebody because they're straight. Don't hire someone because they're gay. Hire them because they're a bloody good engineer or a good pilot, right? It quite frankly, just pisses me off. This is why these problems are occurring. And of course, the fact that Boeing, people go, well, why would Boeing be like that, David? That would put lots of people's lives at risk. You're being a conspiracy theorist. I said, well, for God's sake, they're bloody military contracts. I guarantee you they make aircraft that bloody kill a lot more people, but that's still not the point. Come on, for goodness sake. This is just ridiculous. Boeing, stop it. And a lot of other companies should stop it too. This bloody DEI crap. Hire people for their qualifications, not for their identity. It's bloody ridiculous. Now, according to the FAA, a metal plate attached to a fuel tank vent on the wings of the 777 was installed without an electrical bond, meaning it could potentially accumulate static electricity and cause a fire or an explosion in the jet's fuel tanks. Now, some 292 777s registered in the US could be at risk, the directive warned. All variants of the 777, from the base model 777-200 to the long-range 777-300ER, are affected. And that's just 292 in the US. What about the rest of the world? Are they affected too? I would say probably are. Boeing dismissed the Daily Mail's report, insisting that the proposed directive is part of a standard regulatory process that has helped ensure air travel is the safest form of transportation, as long as it's not on a Boeing. Dear Lord. This is not an immediate safety of flight issue, the company stated. There are multiple redundancies designed into modern commercial aeroplanes to ensure protection for electromagnetic effects. The 777 fleet has been operating for nearly 30 years and has flown safely more than 3.9 billion passengers. That's great. And the thing is, you've got an issue now here, Boeing. You might be telling the truth. The problem is, who's going to believe you? Not me. The 777 is the world's most built wide-body airliner, with nearly 1,800 delivered to operators around the world since 1995. It has been involved in 31 accidents or incidents, a relatively better safety record than its smaller predecessor, the 767, which was involved in 67 accidents out of around 1,300 aircraft built. Still a good ratio, but Not a good ratio if you're a passenger. I mean, look, nothing's perfect for God's sake, but this is getting beyond a joke. Boeing's overall approach to safety has come under scrutiny in recent years. Two deadly crashes in 2018 and 2019 grounded its entire fleet of short-haul 737 MAX aeroplanes, while this year has seen multiple incidents taking place, starting with a door panel blowing off midair on a 737 MAX 9 operated by Alaska Airlines in January. In the 1950s, the Havilland Comet, had this not a it wasn't the door blowing off mid-flight, but apparently it was a hatch in the bloody ceiling or a little window in the ceiling. My brain's a bit foggy on that detail, but yeah, and they were falling out of the sky. That was the 1950s, for God's sake. This is 2024. This shouldn't be happening. The US Department of Justice is still considering prosecuting Boeing over the 2018 and 2019 crashes, which killed nearly 350 people and were caused by an errant pitch control system that the company had not informed pilots about. That's the thing. I mean, how is a pilot supposed to, compensate for that mid-flight if he doesn't know about it, if he can compensate for it at all? Fascinating. All right, well, my name is David. Thanks for joining me for another Studio 64 Science, Space and Tech News update. I shall see you in the next one. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you're up for it, drop a comment down below the video because I'd love to hear what you think. All right, take care. And as I always say, if you can't be good at it. And as I also always say,
my brain hurts!